The night my mom threw my sister out of the house. She didn't cry. She just looked at me and said, "You'll understand soon." And I hate that she was right. It happened so fast that it still doesn't feel real when I replay it. One minute we were eating dinner like a normal family, and the next, my mom was screaming louder than I had ever heard in my life. "Get out," she said, not yelling, not even emotional, cold. That's what made it worse. My sister, Emma, just sat there at the table, staring at her plate like she hadn't heard it. "Did you hear me?" Mom snapped. "Get out of my house." I remember looking between them, completely confused. "What's going on?" I asked. No one answered. Emma slowly put her fork down, wiped her hands like she was finishing a normal meal, and then finally looked up. And the way she looked at Mom, it wasn't anger, it wasn't sadness, it was disappointment, like she expected this. "Okay," she said quietly. That was it. No argument, no fight. She just stood up and walked to her room. I followed her because none of this made any sense. "Emma, what is happening?" I whispered as she started pulling clothes out of her closet. She didn't even look at me. "You should go back," she said. "You don't need to be involved in this."
Obviously, Ido, he snapped.
"Mom just kicked you out for no reason." She paused for a second, then finally turned toward me. And that's when I noticed her eyes. She wasn't surprised. She wasn't even hurt. She looked tired, like this had been building for a long time. "It's not for no reason," she said softly. "Then what is it?" I asked. She hesitated, and for a second I thought she was going to tell me. But instead, she just shook her head. "You'll find out," she said. "Just not tonight." That pissed me off more than anything. "What does that even mean?" I said. "You're just going to leave without explaining anything?" She gave me a small smile, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. "I'm protecting you," she said. That made my stomach drop. From what? But she didn't answer. She just zipped up her bag, grabbed her phone, and walked past me, back into the living room. Mom was standing there, arms crossed, like she had been waiting. "Keys," she said. Emma pulled them out of her pocket and placed them on the table without a word. "Don't come back," Mom added, still cold, still emotionless. And that's when I finally snapped. "Are you serious right now?" I said. "You're just kicking her out?" She didn't even do anything. Mom turned to me slowly. "You don't know that," she said. "Then tell me," I yelled. "No," she said firmly. That word hit harder than anything else.
No explanation.
No discussion. Just no. Emma picked up her bag, and before she walked out, she looked at me one more time. "You'll understand soon," she repeated. Then she left, just like that. The door closed behind her, and the house felt empty, wrong. I turned back to Mom, expecting her to finally explain, but she just walked past me like nothing had happened. "Clean up the table," she said, like we had just finished a normal dinner. That's when I realized something was seriously off, because my mom wasn't just angry. She was hiding something, and whatever it was big enough to tear our family apart in one night. I didn't sleep at all that night. Every little noise made me think Emma had come back, but she didn't, and Mom didn't say a single word about what happened. The next morning felt like a completely different world. No Emma in the kitchen, no music playing from her room, no sarcastic comments at breakfast, just silence. I couldn't take it anymore. "Are you going to tell me what happened?" I asked. Mom didn't even look up from her coffee.
No.
That same cold answer again. "Why?" I pushed. "Because you don't need to know." That made my chest tighten. "She's my sister," I said. "I deserve to know." Mom finally looked at me, and for the first time, I saw something crack. Not guilt, not regret, fear. "You think you want to know," she said quietly, "but you don't." That made everything worse. "What does that even mean?" I asked, but she just shook her head and stood up. "Drop it." And then she walked away, That's when I decided I wasn't going to drop it. If she wasn't going to tell me the truth, I'd find it myself. Because whatever Emma did, or didn't do, there was no way it justified what just happened. At least that's what I thought, until I went into Emma's room and found the one thing she left behind. The thing Emma left behind wasn't hidden. That's what made it worse. It was just sitting there, right in the middle of her bed, like she wanted me to find it. At first, I thought it was just a notebook, something random she forgot in a rush. But Emma doesn't forget things. Not like that. I walked over slowly, my heart already beating faster for no reason I could explain, and picked it up. It wasn't a notebook. It was a folder, plain, beige, the kind you'd use for important documents. And my name was written on it. Not printed, not labeled, handwritten. That alone made my stomach twist. Okay, I muttered to myself, sitting down on her bed. I hesitated for a second, because something about this felt wrong. Like opening it would change things in a way I couldn't undo. But I opened it anyway, and I wish I hadn't. The first thing I saw was a printed photo. It was our house, taken from outside. At night, my breath caught in my throat. Why would she? I whispered. It wasn't just a random picture either. It looked deliberate, like someone had been watching. I flipped to the next page. Another photo. This time it was Mom, standing in the kitchen, taken from the window. My chest tightened. What is this? I said under my breath. It didn't make sense. Why would Emma have pictures like this? No, that didn't make sense either. Emma wasn't creepy. She wasn't obsessed. She wasn't. I stopped myself, because I realized something. All the photos weren't taken from inside the house. They were all from outside. Different angles, different days, but always the same subject. Our house, our life, being watched. I flipped through the rest faster now, and that's when it got worse. Way worse. There were printed messages, emails, texts. None of them were from Emma. They were from someone else. Unknown number, unknown email, no name, just messages. I saw her again tonight. She doesn't know yet. You need to tell him before I do. My hands started shaking. Tell who? Tell me? I kept reading. You're running out of time. He deserves to know what she did. My chest felt tight. I didn't even realize I had stopped breathing until I forced myself to inhale. What she did. Who? Mom? Emma? None of this made sense. Then I saw the date. The messages weren't recent. They went back months, maybe longer, which meant this wasn't something sudden. This had been building, quietly, behind my back, and I had no idea. I flipped to the last page, and that's where everything changed. It wasn't a message. It wasn't a photo. It was a letter, handwritten, from Emma. I recognized her handwriting immediately. Messy, slightly slanted, always rushed. I swallowed hard before I started reading. If you're reading this, it means she finally did it. My heart started pounding. I didn't want you to find out like this, but I don't think I have a choice anymore. I felt a chill run down my spine. You probably think I did something horrible. Yeah, I did, but I didn't. I've been trying to protect you. That word again. Protect. From what? Mom isn't who you think she is. I froze.
No, y whispered.
I know how that sounds. I didn't believe it either at first. My hands tightened around the paper. But someone reached out to me months ago. They started sending me proof. At first, I thought it was fake. I thought it was some kind of joke or scam. I kept reading even though I didn't want to. But then the photos started coming. The same ones you're looking at now. My chest felt heavy. And then the messages. My eyes moved faster across the page. They said Mom has been lying to us. For years. Lying about what? I tried to confront her once. I held my breath. She denied everything. Told me to stay out of it. That sounded exactly like her. But I didn't stop. Of course she didn't. Emma never stopped once she started something. And that's when things got worse. My stomach dropped. The person messaging me said if I didn't tell you the truth, they would. My heart skipped. And trust me, you don't want to hear it from them. A cold feeling spread through my chest. So I was trying to figure out how to tell you. My eyes blurred slightly, but I waited too long. I already knew how this ended. She found out. I stopped reading. I didn't need to see the rest to know what that meant. Mom didn't kick Emma out for no reason. She kicked her out because she knew. She knew Emma was getting close to the truth. I forced myself to finish the letter. If she kicked me out, it means she's scared. That word again. Fear. And if she's scared, it means it's all real. I felt sick. I'm sorry you have to deal with this now. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the paper. But you deserve to know the truth. I didn't feel like I deserved anything right now. Just be careful. My heart pounded harder. Because if she could do this to me, I didn't want to read the last line. I already knew it wouldn't be good. But I did anyway. She can do it to you too. I dropped the letter. My mind was racing. Nothing made sense. But at the same time, everything did. Mom's behavior, the silence, the fear in her eyes, Emma's calmness, her lack of surprise. This wasn't about Emma doing something wrong. This was about her finding something out. Something big enough that Mom would kick her out to keep it buried. I stood up quickly, my head spinning. I needed answers. Now, I walked out of Emma's room and straight down the hallway. Mom was in the kitchen again, like nothing had changed, like our family hadn't just fallen apart. I slammed the folder down on the table. Her eyes immediately dropped to it, and for the first time, she looked genuinely shaken. "Where did you get that?" she asked.
Isterta here.
"In Emma's room," I said. "The room you just kicked her out of." She didn't respond. "Care to explain?" I added. Silence. Then she slowly sat down, and the look on her face, it wasn't anger anymore. It wasn't control. It was something else, something darker. "You shouldn't have opened that," she said quietly. My chest tightened. "Yeah," I snapped. "Then maybe you shouldn't have given me a reason to." She looked up at me, and for a second, I saw it again. That same thing I noticed earlier. Fear. But this time, it wasn't small. It was real. "You don't understand what you're getting into," she said. I let out a bitter laugh. "Then explain it to me." She shook her head. "It's not that simple. Try me." Another pause. Longer this time. Then finally, she said something that made my blood run cold. "You think I'm the one hiding something," she said slowly. My stomach dropped. "Aren't you?" She held my gaze. And then she said,
No.
A chill ran down my spine. "Then who is?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Her eyes shifted slightly, not toward me, but past me, toward the hallway, toward Emma's room, then back to me, and that's when she said it. "You are." For a second, I thought I heard her wrong. "You are." The words didn't make sense. They just hung there in the air, heavy and wrong. "What?" I said, almost laughing. "What the hell are you talking about?" Mom didn't respond right away. She just kept looking at me like she was trying to decide something, like there was a line she could cross. And once she did, there was no going back. "You think this is about me?" she said slowly. My patience snapped. "Because it is," I yelled. "You kicked Emma out. You've been lying. There are literal photos of our house like someone's stalking us. You really don't remember, do you?" That stopped me. My chest tightened. "Remember what?" I asked. Her eyes didn't leave mine, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I didn't know my own mother. "Everything started after the accident," she said quietly. My stomach dropped. "What accident?" The moment the words left my mouth, something felt off, like my brain rejected the question before she even answered. Mom's expression changed. Not shocked, not surprised, just sad. "That's exactly the problem," she said. A strange pressure started building in my head, like something was trying to push its way forward. You were there, she continued. You were the only one there. I don't know what you're talking about, I said quickly, too quickly, because suddenly I wasn't sure. Mom leaned forward slightly. 6 months ago, she said, you told us you were going to stay over at a friend's place. My heartbeat started getting louder. But you didn't. I swallowed. Yes, I did, I said. But even as I said it, something didn't feel right. Mom shook her head. No, she said. You didn't. The pressure in my head got worse. Sharp. Uncomfortable. You drove out of town that night, she continued. My breathing got heavier. No, I said again. That's not true. You took my car. Flash. Just for a second. Headlights. Dark road. Then I flinched. What did you do? I whispered. Mom's eyes filled with something I couldn't fully read. You don't remember hitting him? She asked. The world tilted. Hitting who? Another flash. A figure in the road. Too close. Too sudden. A loud sound. My hands gripping a steering wheel. No, I said, shaking my head. No, no, no. You came home shaking, Mom continued softly. You said it was an animal. My chest felt like it was caving in. I didn't. You begged me not to call the police. The memory hit harder this time. Me standing in the kitchen, wet clothes, shaking hands, crying. Please, Mom. It was an accident. My legs felt weak. You told me you didn't even see him until it was too late, she said. The room started spinning. I didn't, I whispered, but now I could see it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough. Enough to know it was real. I checked the car the next morning, Mom continued. Her voice felt distant now, like I was hearing it through water. There was damage, blood. My stomach turned. I didn't find a body, she said, but I knew. I dropped into the chair behind me. My hands were cold. I protected you, she said. That word again. Protected. But now it felt different. Heavy. Wrong. I handled everything, she continued. The car. The reports. I made sure nothing traced back to you. Couldn't breathe. I thought it was over, she said. But it wasn't. The messages started a few months later, she said. My head snapped up slightly. Someone knew, she continued. Or at least, someone suspected. The folder, the photos, the messages. They started watching the house, she said. Sending pictures, threats. My chest tightened again. They said they knew what you did. A cold wave ran through me. They wanted money at first, she said. But then it changed. Changed how? I asked weakly. Her expression darkened. They wanted you. My stomach dropped. What? They said they were going to expose you, she said. Turn you in. Ruin your life. I couldn't even process that. So why didn't you tell me? I asked. My voice barely sounded like mine. Because you weren't stable, she said immediately. You were already barely holding it together after that night. That was true. I had been different. I just didn't know why. I thought I could handle it, she said. I thought I could keep you safe. Safe from what I did. So where does Emma fit into this? I asked. Mom's face tightened. She found out, she said simply. How? The messages. My heart sank. They started contacting her too, Mom continued, sending her everything. The photos, the proof, the truth. She came to me, Mom said, demanded answers. I could already guess how that went. I told her to stay out of it, she said. But she wouldn't. Of course she wouldn't. Emma never let things go. She wanted to go to the police, Mom said. That hit hard. She said what we did was wrong. A bitter feeling rose in my chest. What I did. She didn't understand, Mom said. She was going to destroy everything. So you kicked her out? I said. My voice sounded empty. I had no choice, Mom said. But it didn't sound convincing anymore, not even to her. Silence filled the room, heavy, suffocating. Everything felt different now. The house, my life, myself. I killed someone, I said quietly. Mom didn't respond, but she didn't deny it either. And now someone knows, I continued. She nodded slightly. They've been watching, I said. Another nod. My chest tightened again. Why haven't they done anything yet? I asked. That's when Mom hesitated. And I knew I wasn't going to like the answer. Because they're waiting, she said. For what? Her eyes met mine. For you to remember. A chill ran through me. That's when my phone buzzed. Loud, sharp. It made both of us jump. I slowly pulled it out of my pocket. Unknown number. My hands started shaking again. Don't answer it, Mom said quickly. But I already knew I was going to. Because deep down, I already knew who it was. I answered. Hello. For a second, nothing. Just silence. Then a voice. Calm. Almost amused. Hey, it said. My blood ran cold. Do you remember me yet? I couldn't speak. You hit me pretty hard, the voice continued. My heart stopped. That night, it said. On the road. No, that wasn't possible. You're alive? The voice finished. A soft chuckle. Yeah, it said. Barely. My grip tightened on the phone. Surprised. I couldn't even think. I've been watching you, he continued, waiting for this moment. My chest felt like it was going to explode. Why? I whispered. Another pause. Then, because I wanted to see if you'd ever admit it, he said. My throat went dry. And now you have. I froze. Slowly, I looked up at Mom. Her face had gone pale. Speaker, the voice said. I didn't even remember pressing it. But suddenly, it filled the room. I've got everything, he continued. Photos, messages, your little confession just now. My stomach dropped. You don't? Mom started. Oh, I do, he interrupted. A small laugh. And now, I get to decide what happens next. Silence. Thick, heavy. Then, let's see how much your life is worth. The call ended. Neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke. Because we both knew the same thing. This wasn't over. It had never been over. And now, it was finally coming back to destroy us. And the worst part, I finally remembered everything. Every second of that night. And I knew, this time, there was no one left to protect me. If this story messed with your head even a little, hit subscribe right now because the next one will be even darker. And trust me, you won't see it coming.